Hello and welcome everybody to today's Commodities Corner presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So guys, during today's session, we will of course be going through live market analysis. We'll go through a watch list of trade ideas. We'll go through a forecast of where we expect gold, silver, oil, and also the commodity currencies to be heading next. As always, we will keep it very interactive. I will encourage you all, any questions, any comments, any contributions, feel free to send those through either directly to myself on the chat, put them in the group chat, or send them to Sharice, and we will cover those during today's analysis. We'll be going through the markets together, going through trade ideas, and I'll talk you through our forecasts as well. So before we get into it, let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading. As internationally respected experts, our analysis and our opinions on the metals, energies, and the cryptocurrency markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. Our team of experts has trained and mentored thousands of traders from all over the world to invest in the financial markets with confidence using our exclusive research-driven strategies. So for further information on the Gold and Silver Club and our expertise, please do visit www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, excellent. So we'll have a little bit of a look at the big shakers and movers today. So the top movers so far today, we've had the US GDP figures come out, which have come out stronger than expected. Yesterday, the US dollar surged up over 1% after the European Central Bank announcement, and also off the back of Donald Trump's update regarding who he is choosing next now for the next head of the Federal Reserve. And we've also seen additional developments in the tax reforms in the US as well, which I'll go into more detail when we look at the charts. But essentially, the dollar has been very strong over the last 24 hours. It's up 0.39% on the day. The biggest movers to the downside today have been the pound. So the pound is currently down about 0.5% on the day. Crude oil is also down 0.5% on the day, although yesterday it broke out to 27-month highs. We saw Brent crude oil break above 2-year highs. We'll have a look at that very shortly. The euro also has weakened today, down 0.42% on the day. Australian dollar, US dollar as well is down 0.35%, although I would look at that very closely. We're getting to some very key oversold levels at the moment, and gold also broke through support as we had discussed earlier on in the week on the training regarding the gold to silver ratio. Gold has broken down to $1,265 per ounce. So with that, we'll just give you a quick idea in terms of the next major news items coming out. We've had the GDP numbers come out already, which have been stronger than forecast, and we've seen the US dollar surge again off the back of that. Later in the session, we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, which is due out at 3 o'clock London time, and then we have the Baker Hughes oil rig count, which is due out at 6 o'clock London time, and that can certainly be a big mover for oil. So for those of you who trade crude oil, again, yesterday, US oil broke out to 6-month highs, and we saw Brent crude oil break out to 27-month highs. And potentially at these levels, we may see additional acceleration to the upside as we get into the close today if the Baker Hughes oil rig count shows a reduction again in the amount of oil rigs. So we'll have a look at that when we go over to oil. In terms of execution on the binary.com platform, I'll talk you through this. I'm sure most of you are now just very aware of how to execute trades, but this will be a bit of a reminder. And for those of you who are newer to binary.com, this is what we look at in terms of a deal ticket when we're looking to execute a trade. Very simply, we're looking at higher or lower trades here, so for a rise or a fall. And the way that we execute a trade, start time, we always go for start time now. We like to get into market execution as opposed to a pending order on our binary trades. The duration, we like to go for momentum trades, so anywhere really from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to 1 hour to a couple of hours when we're trading a binary trade, getting in and out relatively quickly, looking for some good momentum on the trade. Now the payout, you can choose, very flexible there. You could be looking for a payout of £5, £50, £500, £5,000, £2,500, which is what we've got for this trade at the moment. So you can see here, we've gone for a start time. This is actually gold, so we've gone for a start time now. Duration 1 hour, and payout of 2,500. So in order to work out the risk and so forth on the trade, essentially, if I'm looking for the price to be higher, The stake is £1,415.65. And if I win the trade, I win 2,500 on the position. If I lose a trade, I lose the stake. Okay, it's all very transparent in terms of my upfront risk, my net profit on the trade, my return on the trade. Everything is shown to you before you execute a position, essentially. If I wanted the trade to be lower, so if I'm looking for the price to close lower over, for example, 1 hour on gold, the stake there, £1,417. The payout is 2,500. And if I was going for the price to be lower, you can see the net profit there and also the return as well. So essentially, everything is very straightforward, upfront. You don't need a stop loss, you don't need to have a take profit. All you need to get right is essentially your entry on the trade, the duration, and whether it needs to be higher or lower over that duration. And we'll go through some trade ideas shortly as we go over to the charts. If anybody needs any clarification on that, feel free just to let me know in the chat there too. Okay, good. Excellent. So with that, before we get going and we go into the charts, I appreciate everybody has just different amounts of time they're able to be on today's session. Some of you are joining during your coffee breaks, your lunch breaks. You might be at work, you might be at home, or just lots going on within your general day-to-day life. So if you can't stay on for the whole session, if you want to find out more about becoming a member of the Gold and Silver Club and essentially getting access to all of our trades during the week, sent out in real time to all of our members, access to our private members academy, the membership sites, and you also want to join our trading rooms during the week as well, I'll put the link there for you just so you've got that up front at the moment. Okay, so it's www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com is the link, and it's also the link there which is currently being displayed on the screen. Okay, but I'll talk you through that a little bit later in the session. Okay, good. So with that, let's get on to live technical analysis, and we'll go through some trade ideas. As always, guys, we'll keep it very interactive, so contributions are very welcome. I'm going to share my screen, so you should be able to see my screen coming up very shortly here. Okay, let's just double check. You can see my screen okay. Just check the audio is okay. You can still hear me, guys. You can, yep, fantastic. Thank you, Sharice. And just bear with me whilst I just quickly make an adjustment. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I have already outlined some trades, some of the top trade ideas that I'm looking at the moment. So I'll just outline those to you first of all, and then we'll go over to some of the commodities. So first of all, euro pound. I like this for a sell short. We're in this for a sell short already. Shorted a bit earlier on in the day when it came up for retracement after breaking through all of this support yesterday. Ultimately, the US dollar is strong at the moment, euro weakness, pound weakness, but the euro is currently weaker. You can see it's got potential to break down even more significantly today. The euro is certainly weaker than the pound at the moment. So I'm looking for more weakness in the euro than the pound right now, following on from the European Central Bank conference yesterday. You could short the euro directly as well. Probably momentum will likely take it down a little bit lower today. It's already broken through very key support here, but at some point, probably by about 3 to 4 o'clock London time, it will start to retrace. So you need to ideally want to be in and out of that quicker, in my opinion. But euro pound I still like here, especially if it can break the weekly pivot. And that's a good point of note, by the way, because if you're looking at this on a raw chart, let me see if I can just show you an example here, just to give you from a training point of view what you should be looking at and be aware of with some of the markets that we trade. Yeah, we've got oil there, so let me show you. We'll bring that out with a Euro GBP, and I will remove the pivots. Okay, right. So if I remove the pivots on this market, this is euro pound at the moment. You can see where it broke down yesterday into the close, and you can see where it's sitting right at the daily lows yesterday. So that looks pretty bearish, right? You'd be looking at that normally and thinking, okay, the next day that should get some momentum to the downside, and that's correct thinking. But if you're not viewing key levels, and in my opinion, pivots are extremely important for your trading, whether you're trading Forex or commodities, or you're trading any other markets, indices as well, you need to be aware of where the pivot point sits, because yesterday we had a sell short on yesterday on the euro pound. We essentially banked at the daily lows yesterday because of the fact that we sat right at the weekly pivot into the close, so we didn't want to continue to stay in that trade beyond that, and all it did was bounce overnight, retraced, and came back to a really nice entry point. We've reloaded on our sell short. We're already in profit on the trade, and then today it's a bonus. If we can break through the pivot today, we've got some good clean air to break down lower. So euro pound, I would suggest this could break down lower later on in the session. I still like this for a sell short. If it can break the weekly pivot, break through yesterday's low, that's where I see the potential to really pick up the momentum to the downside. So euro pound is one of my top trades today. So from a trade idea point of view, shorting it, selling it. New Zealand dollar CAD is just about starting to display signs here for a breakout. It's a little bit aggressive to get in at the moment, but I still like it around these levels. I believe it will be ready for Monday. So you've got a nice basing formation. You've got a bear trap, which develops essentially a couple of days back. We're now, you can see the buy signal getting generated. We're at the extreme ends of my channels as well, and we're coming out of an oversold condition. So New Zealand dollar CAD, I'm likely looking to buy that on Monday. I'll wait for a bit more confirmation today, unless it really ramps up and breaks above the weekly highs, in which case I'll probably just go aggressive and enter instant execution. But right now I'm waiting for New Zealand dollar CAD. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, I've been looking at all week to re-enter here for a new position. Essentially, I'm looking for a sell. I've got the sell signal which has been generated. It is getting some support right now. You can see within some key moving averages, and also previous level of resistance is providing some support right now. So essentially, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, next week, and I'll move it over to the weekly chart. You can see this nice rejection candle that's formed. I would be looking probably on Monday, if it closes near enough to daily lows, to sell it and fill this gap which was created from the big move about a week and a half ago on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, that big surge to the upside. I'd be looking to essentially take advantage of the potential to break all the way back down again. So looking for a sell short. It's almost ready. I could get in aggressive right now, but I'll probably wait a little bit longer. I just need a bit more confirmation to short it. But again, that could be ready for Monday or the Sunday open, especially if it closes below some underlying support and closes near the daily lows. In terms of other trade setups, US dollar, Japanese yen, I'm looking at the potential to short it, but not right now. I don't really want to go against the bullish fundamental backdrop right now. And we've got some additional news items coming out next week up until approximately Wednesday. So I'm waiting right now. Overall, it's a buy versus a sell right now, but it's overbought. I'm looking for potential to come into a lot of resistance around 114.50. 114.50 to about 115. I think at that point will be quite significantly overbought, has the potential to correct lower or at least retrace. We're getting quite overbought on the majority of our indicators now. It doesn't mean it can't still go higher. I just believe that the upside is limited probably on this market now, as it will come into a lot of resistance between around 114.50 to about 115, and it will be very overbought at that zone. It might be geopolitical risk, something along those lines causes it to have a blow off top, but it's not ready yet for a short, but have it on your radar. Let's add it to our watch list. Gold essentially has done what we expected it to do this week. It's been back in filling all week, but eventually yesterday it broke support, came down to 1265. 200-day moving average is not far away, about 1260. I still see the potential for a further breakdown in price here on gold. It's still just treading water near the weekly lows. It's come very near for a retest of the October lows here as well, and I'll be looking actually to be a buyer if it comes back to around 1255 to 1260. As long as it finds support at that zone around the 200 MA, weekly pivot and so forth, I'd be looking to buy it. But short term, I'm not going to buy it. I'm looking for the potential for more downside. It might be done for the day at the moment, so we might see it just consolidate around these levels. We've still got geopolitical risk in the background. Nothing new has flared up this week, but that can very quickly see gold get a bid. And my indicators that I'm looking to take advantage of for a buy here would suggest that we could see a move down to around 1250 to 1240, and at that point I would be a buyer. And right now we've been selling gold this week, out of the trade now, not really looking to do anything new on gold just for today. I'll see some better trades, but overall I would expect a little bit more weakness in gold at the moment. Australian dollar has broken down to 300-day moving average, 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. We sold it earlier on this week. We're now out of our sell short. No action really to be taken here. We see some support here coming in at this Fibonacci level. Possibly it will get a bounce this week. As we go into next week, you can see a lot of previous resistance could turn into support. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce soon. You can see within the RSI here, for example, we're right within an oversold condition. We've broken down quite significantly. We could get a V-shaped reversal pattern snapback in the days to come. I don't want to catch a falling knife, so I'd rather just get a proper buy signal before going for a long here. I am watching it though to see if we will get some sort of bid or support. If it keeps breaking down from these zones, we could even look to sell it into rallies, but right now no action really to be taken. I do like euro Japanese yen. I would suggest actually let's put that one of the top trades. I would class that alongside Euro Pound. Euro Japanese Yen might even be even better. We just take off a few of these indicators here, just try and bring that out a little bit clearer on the chart. See if we can zoom in. Yeah, you can see here it's picking up momentum to the downside. I mean, yesterday was a pretty substantial move lower. I don't really see support for Euro Japanese Yen until it hits the weekly pivot below here. Euro's pretty weak at the moment as well. So I would expect the potential for more downside. That's quite nice as a binary trade actually, because you don't really need to worry about the stop loss. Euro Japanese Yen can be larger than some of the other markets in terms of the risk to reward on this market. So I do like that for a sell short. Euro Japanese Yen for a short-term move here. So have that on the list. Euro Japanese Yen sell. New Zealand dollar, US dollar has essentially come back to key support here. It's come all the way back to the swing lows from May. Oversold. I would expect to snap back in price soon. It's not quite ready yet. I would see a potential for a V-shaped reversal pattern recovery. Although, again, we saw that last week, the potential, and it's just kept on going down. We just stayed out of New Zealand dollar, US dollar for the time being. But at some point, this is going to capitulate and snap back in price. It's just too oversold at the moment. We can either catch that via New Zealand dollar or go long, for example, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. It's actually starting to break out. I do quite like that from a risk to reward point of view. I'm just going to have a look at that. Yeah, it's not bad at all. So you can see it's actually starting to ramp up already. Quite like that. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. So I would say that's one of the top trades at the moment. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, Euro, Japanese Yen. We're shorting this, or Euro Pound already. Euro Japanese Yen. I see more downside. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Maybe wait until Monday. Gold, no action to be taken. Let's just keep going. Oil as well. So oil broke out above the 6-month highs for US oil yesterday, closed at the daily highs. No follow through actually overnight. Today it's dipped back down again. It's getting supported. I'll probably wait until the Baker Hughes oil rig count, which is coming up later on today at 6 o'clock London time, then execute a trade potentially later in the session if that's bullish and we see a reduction in oil rigs. I quite like this for the potential for a nice breakout and a clean move higher. Certainly if US oil follows Brent crude oil here higher, we could get a really strong move. Brent crude oil broke out to the highest level since June 2015, 27-month highs yesterday, really strong breakout pennant formation. So essentially I'm looking for higher prices on US oil and UK oil, but I also want to see yesterday's high get broken in order to go long. Silver, no surprises here. We looked at this earlier on this week, broken through support, and it's had another move lower back towards key support around 16.50. I'm still looking to also buy silver if it comes back to around $16 or $16.50. This is my buy zone at the moment down here, but we're not quite there yet. In terms of selling silver, it's okay for a binary trade in and out quick, but I am more interested in buying silver at the moment than selling it, although I'm not buying it right now. I'm waiting for the price to come a little bit lower. So ultimately, no action to be taken on silver. But if we get down to around $16 to $16.50, I'd be looking for a buy on that market. Oil we've discussed. US dollar, Canadian dollar has continued to ramp up to the upside. It's been very impressive. The breakout and surge we've continued to see over the course of this week has taken out a lot of key resistance. It's now at the 129 zone. Dollar short covering on this market as well as it's continued to ramp up very significantly here over the last week and a half. So right now, it's getting a bid on US dollar strength. We're seeing it right back at the highest level since approximately about July this year. Overall, it's bullish. I wouldn't look to short it. It's a bit, I would say it's a bit overdone on the day, but around these levels, it could still come up to approximately 50% Fibonacci level at 1.2927. So I would be looking for, the potential for a bit more upside, but I would probably wait for the next entry on that. In my opinion, no action to be taken, but I would rather go long than go short. Pound Japanese yen getting a bit of a bid here. I wouldn't be surprised to see that continue to the upside next week. Overall, you've got a nice upward trend. Actually, it's a better price today. If it closes with this price structure today, back above 21-day moving average, holds around the current level, I do actually quite like that for a long, taking it back towards the recent swing highs. So pound Japanese yen, I'll park that to the side as well. Looks quite nice. Pound US dollar at the moment. Pound US dollar is a bit weak today. Continued to break through yesterday after a breakout earlier on in the week from strong GDP figures. But right now it's a sell. Essentially, it's come back to support. However, I still see more weakness in the euro versus the pound, and therefore happy to sell short euro pound. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, no action really to be taken in. The move's already occurred. It's been quite bearish this week, but it's come back to key support. I would wait on that one. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. I was actually looking at that earlier on in the session. I quite like that too, although New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar slightly better, but Australian dollar CAD is starting to also display potential for a breakout. That had a nice move last week too, so I'll put that on the radar. Euro CAD, yeah, weakness in euro probably drive that lower. I would wait because it's still within an upward trend, so holding for that. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen actually is now just about breaking through support. Yesterday's low. I would also add that to the watch list for a potential sell short. We can see it starting to pick up momentum again. So Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. That's essentially on CAD weakness right now. So US dollar CAD and Canadian dollar, Japanese yen tend to be inversely correlated. So if US dollar CAD is breaking out and you've missed a trade, often you can sell short Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, and that's what's happening at the moment. So I quite like that for a sell short too. Euro CAD, no action there. Pound Canadian dollar, no action to be taken. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, no action to be taken. Pound Australian dollar, no action to be taken. Euro New Zealand dollar, possibly pullbacks as buying opportunities. Very strong upward trend at the moment on Euro New Zealand dollar, but for me, it's not quite ready yet. So coming back to the short list, the top trade ideas we look at today, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar is actually, it's generating a buy right now. Would be aggressive entry to get in right now. I can show you that on a 4-hour chart. Okay, you can see where it's just about breaching on the 4-hour. We can look at the 1 hour. So the 1 hour is basically just tapping at resistance here. Just needs to breach a little bit higher to confirm that on lower time frames. I would wait just a little bit longer. We might execute a long on that, quite like that. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar for a breakout. That would benefit from New Zealand dollar, US dollar if that was to get a retracement soon. It's pretty oversold. So I quite like New Zealand dollar CAD. Australian dollar CAD, very similar price structure here as well. I like that for a long too. Euro pound, I like for a sell. If we break the weekly pivot, just to give you a level, that should really tank today. That should really pick up momentum. So below 0.8846, I see that really picking up momentum to the downside. I'll just double check that actually, that level. Hold on. Let's have a look at the pivot. 0.8847. So essentially break that and add 2 pips, for example, for spread. I would be looking for a break of 0.8845 approximately to break the pivot, but that looks good for more downside. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen is a sell. Euro, Japanese yen, in my opinion, is a sell. Pound, Japanese yen is a potential buy, not quite ready. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, potential sell, not quite ready. And gold waiting for the next play for a new trade there. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar, Japanese yen, I would just wait at the moment on that one. Just wait. I do expect it to come into overbought conditions soon and to pull back, but it's not ready yet. Okay, so I hope that helps, guys. I hope that gives you a bit of a sense in terms of what we're looking at. Some major trade ideas at the moment, which you can definitely have a look at during the course of the US session this afternoon. And as I mentioned previously, if you would like real-time trade alerts sent directly to you, essentially at the Gold and Silver Club, this is an example of how it will look. So it will pop up on your email, on your smartphone, pop up as an SMS, and also as an email every trade that we get into. So you get that including our exact entry on every single position, outlines the whole trade, so the market, the trade, the entry, the trade management as well. So we update you with ongoing process of the trade. So each step of the way, the trade management of that position, we update you exactly what we're doing on the position, how it's doing, and we also update you when we exit the trade. So all of that is provided to you real time. So if you would like to get access to that and also access to our private members academy, you get your membership logins, you get everything set up for you on the trading platform, all the charting as well, and you also get access to the live trading room. So during the week, you get invitation only live trading room webinars with interactive Q&A. You get real-time trade alerts delivered instantly via email and SMS. You don't miss out on trades. You get our weekly trading plan with our technical analysis and fundamental research, which you can look at over the course of every weekend. What's really important is you get support. You've got access to us via WhatsApp, via phone, of course. You've got our direct numbers. You've got our email addresses. You can contact us at any time regarding assistance with trades, which can be extremely useful when you're in the markets. We understand sometimes you need to move quick on trades. You need somebody on the end of the line to be able to help you on a specific move or trade or opinion. You've got access to us at the Gold and Silver Club. If you become a member, you've got direct access to us, which is very important. And we set up your platform. So these are all configured for you with our customized charts, all our indicators. So if you like the chart setup I've showed you today, you can get all of the indicators set up, the whole platform with all of the charting, so you can see it in the same way by being a member of the Gold and Silver Club. So again, to get exclusive access to our private members, live trading room service, our membership site, the alerts, everything I've just gone through, make an application to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com and we will get in touch with you ASAP. Okay, fantastic. So I hope that helps, guys, and hope that gives you a bit of a trading plan for today. So I wish you all good trading. Have a fantastic one, and have a great weekend. So with that, guys, all the best. Speak to you soon, and very much look forward to work with those of you who will be joining us at the Gold and Silver Club. Okay, take care, everyone. All the best. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.